Alright, now that we have learned how to set up database with our NestJS project in the last video, in this video we are just going to learn how to set up entities, making sure our record is being stored into the database, and making sure it is reflecting in the API. Without further ado, let's take a look at what we have at the moment. As you can see on the left hand side here, I have created a new folder called user. It has all the user related module, service, controller, everything is inside here. And I have a new file called user entity. It's pretty empty and we will fill in this as the video goes. And for the user controller and service, it's actually pretty bare bone. You can see that I'm just returning dummy values. It's going to return this into the controller and it's finally going to reflect into this HTTP API call. Pretty basic, and it will help us with this learning with database. Now let's go into the documentation, which is our entry point. As you can see, we have an entity that we can start leveraging here. I can just copy this code and put them into my user entity. I can save this, and as you can see, the file is pretty self-explanatory. We have the ID, we have the names that we want to fill in, and then we have the isActive, which is Boolean. Now you might be asking, how can this be reflected into database? Before I do that, I would like to point out that this is actually a synchronized project and is being set as true. This is pretty dangerous because it will automatically find out what are the registered entity that you has and automatically create tables for them. What do I mean by that? So if I go into my database here and I try to refresh, you can see that it has no tables at all. That means we haven't registered the user entity yet. To do that, we have to copy the name of the entity, in this case user, and paste this into the entities field that we have here. Done. Make sure it is running smoothly, and I can just refresh this. And you can start seeing the danger here. But for us to learn this, and since this is local, it should be good. So now I have this user table, and all of the columns are predefined for me. Perhaps in some other video, I will show you how to make sure that this is running correctly for production. And we are not to use this synchronized into production unless you know how to tackle it properly. With that aside, I'm going to close this app module and we can start focusing on the record itself. So let's say I want to create a new record for this table. I'll just click on new item in my adminer, fill in any value that I would like. isActive is equal to true. And I can save this and it's going to show here. So let's say if I want to create a new column, let's say I want to add an age. And this is number. You can quickly create a new column this way. And if I refresh this adminer, it's going to reflect the new column that we have here. And apparently they default it as 0. So I can just change this to some absurd value such as 45, and I'm going to save this. Alright, now that we have our record, how can I show this to our application? With that in mind, I'll see you guys in the next video where we will use HTTP API to make call to our service and see them reflecting to our database in real time. I'll see you guys soon.